So then we're going to turn it on, and then we can start making stamps. I'm so excited.
But we can't do the video till the camera's on us.
Oh. Hi, and welcome to Crafts by Two. I'm George.
And I'm Ken.
And today we have the last episode on the Silhouette Mint machine, the stamp making machine. We're going to show making a stamp, inking it up, and then using it. In addition to that, we're going to make two identical stamps and use different inks on them to see how well non-silhouette inks work on it.
So we've got everything set up. We have our laptop with the Mint Studio, and I've got the stamp that we made the last time for Made by Crafts by Two. So we're going to do that one first.
And I have the stamp material that you put through the machine. So why don't you show what you do on the computer?
I've already gotten into the ink preview point, and I have the filters set up to my liking, and I'll switch over to Send to Mint.
Now I'm going to turn on the Mint Studio.
Because it said it couldn't connect.
And I didn't mean Mint Studio. I meant Mint Machine.
So, step 2, start the Mint. And now it's ready. And you can tell because the power button's blinking. And it told us on screen.
So I'm just going to come over here and I'm going to feed this in this way. So the notch should always be to the outside. And that's what it shows like in the Mint Studio software also. And you just feed it into the back. And it should catch.
And on screen it says it's detecting the media. Baby, give it a push. And it's printing.
So there's very little noise. More a vibrational noise than anything. And it's coming out the front already. There, and it's done. I don't know if you guys can see that. Let me hold it up to the camera. And our stamp is done. So to get it out, you bend it here where it has the dashed lines because there's like a plastic seal over the top of it. And then you're supposed to be able to just lift it out like this. Oops. And it leaves a little cellophane on here, and here's our stamp. So we're going to turn the machine off for right now and just set it over to the side. And this is what you mount your stamp on. There's a wooden block, and then there's this pad. And you slide this onto the wooden block until it clicks, and that makes your stamp. Take the top off, and there's a piece of, it's almost like wax paper over the top that we're going to peel off and then set our stamp on top of it. So let's just peel this off, and let's see how good I can get to get this on right. There. I thought being as far away from me as it is, it would be hard, but it's not. That's all there is to it. Your stamp's done. Put the cap on, you're done. Now we're going to ink it up. What color do you want to make it, Ken?
Well, with these stamps, it's really easy to mix up the colors a little bit. So why don't we do the logo to match our design a little?
Well, we don't have purple. We don't have green.
Well, we can mix up the colors across the letters.
Okay, so then you just take your inks. I'm going to shake them up first. So I'll do that off camera. And then I'm going to just put some ink on our stamp. Now, it's probably hard for you guys to see at home, but it's really easy to see where we're putting the ink. And this kind of feels almost like a gel ink, not like a regular ink. So it's going to mix a little bit, but you can't take like orange and blue and make, or red and blue and make purple. And then we'll do the rest in black. And the instructions say to let the ink sit on for 5 to 10 minutes. So I know it's hard to believe I actually read the instructions before Ken, but I did. So we're going to let the ink sit like that for about, let's do it for 10 minutes. And we'll come back. So while we were waiting for this ink to soak in, Ken created 2 other stamps. They're identical. They say love you to the moon and back. So one of the other questions we got was, how well do other inks work with the mint stamps? Besides just using the Silhouette inks, we all have tons of reinkers at home, so how well do those inks play with the mint stamps? So we're going to ink one up with Silhouette ink and one up with Tim Holtz ink to see how well they work. So remember, we mentioned this in our earlier video on the mint, but these aren't like regular stamps. You don't stamp them onto an ink pad and then stamp them onto your project. You have to apply the ink to the stamp and let it soak in and then stamp it. So we're going to make one, I think, in blue and one in the new Tim Holtz purple, which is really called,
it's violet.
Wilted Violet. So it's not purple, it's violet. So we're going to put not a ton of ink on here, but we're going to get a generous portion. We're going to put that to the side and move this stamp over to the side. And now we're going to use the Wilted Violet, which is a Tim Holtz Distress ink from the reinker, on this stamp. We're going to do the same thing. We're just going to put some ink on it around the image. This ink seems to kind of just lay on top. This I keep finding myself having to drag it back out to cover. So we'll let that sit for 10 minutes also. Now this is the stamp that we made before that has already been sitting for 10 minutes. And now they tell you to stamp it off 5 or 6 times. Well, actually I think they say up to 10 times until you get a crisp image. There you go. That's actually pretty cool. It's really crisp, a lot crisper than I thought it was going to be. And you get a bunch of stamps with it.
They say you could get up to 50 stamps, so you can put the lid back on and save it to stamp another time. And you don't have to ink it up again necessarily.
Wow, that's actually making a lot of stamps. So if you were making cards and you saved all your cards to one time to stamp on the back that you made them, this is kind of cool. So let's put the other thing that they give you is this label for you to put your stamp on, so you know what stamp it is. There's our Crisp by 2 stamp. They give you 2 labels, one to go on the cover which we will put on right now. And then one to go on the top of the block. Look, I already got ink on it. We found that these blocks are a little bit expensive, so we're not going to have a block for every stamp that we make. So these are easily removable. You just slide them off, then you put your next one on. So that's what we're going to do for the rest of our demonstration. So we'll only be making one stamp to go on the cover of the actual stamp.
So really by the 7th one, maybe the 8th one, it started to come out pretty clear and usable.
Yep.
There's just a little bit of the B. Maybe there wasn't enough coverage, but it really got the by 2, which was really tiny. You can make it out. The by has a pretty fine line around it.
Yeah, it does. I'm really impressed.
And you can see an example of how the ink doesn't really blend together. It's just the two colors. They don't make a new color, especially on the A where they overlap.
And I think that's more the function of the ink itself, because it's more like a gel ink than a liquid ink. So it's been 10 minutes since we put the ink on our stamps. Here is the silhouette ink. Let me see if I can get a good angle. You can see there's not a lot on it left over on the outside. But if I hold up the Tim Holtz ink, which I have to do very carefully, whoop, where am I? There is a puddle of ink still on top and it's running. So it didn't absorb the ink as well as the silhouette ink. So let's stamp them off. I'm going to do the silhouette ink first. I'm going to slide it onto the block. Set this one over to the side. And what did it take last time? Like by the 7th?
7th or 8th.
So let's do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, yeah, it looks pretty good. I might not have done the best job inking it completely, especially at the top.
And the start and end of the phrase.
And the start and end of the phrase. But if you push down hard, you can get a darker image, or push lighter for a lighter image. I'm really impressed, because it does look like the moon.
Mm-hmm. One thing we didn't mention, the heart little arrow tag is a geolocation tag that you get when you hook up your mint.
So here's the stamps that we did. It's not the best, but I think that's more because it was far away from me when I was inking it up. And I think I could have done a better inking job. But it came out really nice.
And by far away from him when he was inking it up, he means I needed to wear my glasses.
I'm sure I have no idea what you're talking about. So I'm going to take this one off. I put the cover on it. And I'm going to put the one that has Tim Holtz ink in it. But wait, before we take away the scratch paper, because there's so much ink on the top of it, I'm just going to turn it over and kind of wipe it off. There. So there was a lot of extra Tim Holtz ink on there. So it kind of worked. Not very well though.
So I think the answer is, can you use other inks with it? Not really.
You could, but your results are very iffy. Because if we take one of these, and I'm pushing quite hard on the block, that's what it looks like with Tim Holtz. Let me throw the cap on here. Slide this one off. We'll slide the Silhouette inks back on. We'll do a stamp with this, giving it very light pressure. Look how much better it came out. So I guess depending upon the effect that you wanted, you could play with different inks to see how it comes out, but I would probably plan to use Silhouette ink if I was going to do a project. And then if you have time and you want to play around, you could do that.
But this is still stamping really well after 18, 19, and 20 stamps.
Yeah, and you see, let me take this one off and slide this one on. Actually, I like how easy it is to slide the stamps off and on the block. Now I'm really pushing hard and it's barely coming out with anything.
And how many stamps is that?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 stamps. And look how much we wasted for ink. So this is me doing two-handed push on the table. It's very light. Pop this one off. Pop this one on. Just a push with one hand. I'm really impressed with the ink. So the ink is quite expensive. It's like $5.95 or $6.95.
It's $5.99.
For one of these bottles.
And that is how many? Like half an ounce?
No, I think it's, isn't it an ounce?
No, I think it's 0.5. Can't remember, it's not on this bottle.
We'll look up how many ounces this is and put it down here at the bottom of the screen. But you could always find them in the store, hopefully, soon, and use a coupon with them and get them that way. Or like Blitzy or other stores often have them on sale and you could stock up and they have all different colors. So you all know I'm going to buy the different colors. So I'm letting you know in advance. I'm buying the different colors. Or these would make great stocking stuffers. Hint, hint.
Silhouette says that you can get about 50 stamps out of an inking, and then you can go and change the inks. Maybe you didn't like the red and the blue you used this time. After this is used up, you can switch it and put on different colors once it's dried out.
I'm really impressed. I didn't know how well it would stamp out, but the detail is great. I think if you can find the Mint Studio machine for around $100 or cheaper, I would grab it. You can make cool little stamps for yourself, and you can get together with all your crafty friends and you can make stamps for them too. Or you could go in on it as a group purchase. You and 2 or 3 other friends, $25 each, and then you can each use it.
Personally, I think if you're going to do a lot of stamps and you'll have value from that, I think it's worth it. If you're just somebody who wants to make a stamp to use once, I don't know if it's going to be worth it to just make kind of one-off stamps.
This still stamp's incredible. I think I see a lot of stamps in our future. So if you're interested in other ways that you can make your own stamps, we have another video about the Teresa Collins stamp maker. That one makes really cool, almost like rubber stamps. But setting it up and getting it just right was a little bit more difficult. It might be more intimidating to people who don't want to jump into the deep end of the pool.
But with that, it's more of a traditional stamp, so you can clean it off and change the inks right away.
Right.
So you can also take advantage of things like embossing inks, so you can stamp your design and put embossing powders on it. This, you're not really going to be able to get away with that.
No, you'll just be able to use the Silhouette inks. But you never know. They might make embossing inks someday.
Maybe. I think it's good for stamps that you're going to reuse a lot, like our Made by Crafts by Two. We can put on the backs of cards and projects.
Ooh, I got an idea. We could write our names on a piece of paper and scan it into a computer, and then we never have to sign Christmas cards again. Oops. I shouldn't have said that on camera.
No.
Those are just the beginning of some really great ideas that you could do in your crafting hobbies. We hope you've enjoyed our series on the Silhouette Mint. It's a really cool product, and like I said, if it's under $100, I think it's a great buy, and a great Christmas gift too. If you'd like to be kept up to date on stuff like this, and our giveaways, and our other crafty things, make sure you subscribe to our channel by clicking on the link below if you're on YouTube, or the link to the side if you're on our webpage. It even shows you how to get email notifications about new episodes.
We're on a lot of places on the internet, so check us out on social media. All the links are down in the description below for Instagram, Pinterest, Google+, Facebook, and more.
So, until next time, George orders something and doesn't tell Ken, and then it just shows up in the mail. We'll talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.
Is it the mailman? So it's been 10 minutes since we put the inks on our ink. Or you go on it. We hope you enjoyed our series on the Mint Studio from Silhouette. Yeah.
The Silhouette Mint?
Yeah. We hope you've enjoyed our series on the Silhouette Mint.
And we're a lot.
We're a lot. He's calling me fat again.
Yeah.
You're a monster.